Do you feel the Sindhi community is a successful community, and why?
My definition of success, especially for Sindhis, is because of the partition, since the partition, the most important thing I think for the Sindhis was to make a home in a new country, in a new uh, place altogether. So I think the most important thing for them was to create some kind of stability for themselves and for their children and for their families. Okay.
Hi, and welcome to Indian Explorers. In this podcast, we talk about Indian success stories. I am Sabrina, and together with my co host Amit, we will get to understand the journey of our guests and what drives them. The optimism, patience, idealism, and courage, these are their attributes that we want to bring to life in our conversations with them. So if you enjoy the show, please hit the subscribe button and share it with others. So, how's it going?
Good afternoon, Sabrina. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. What's going on with you?
I was a little bit sad to see Vivek quit the race yesterday.
Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Were you
obviously after
sad?
the after what happened, he did the right thing, and I think he's opened himself up for a potential VP or some sort of important role within Trump's
I think
presidency.
VP's way too um generous for him, but
But compared to Kamala, if Kamala can be Joe's VP,
she had
I think he's
political experience. He has zero political experience.
yeah, but at least
Well,
he's
then again,
smart.
so did Trump, right?
Yeah,
Well, you just know I don't like the guy. So anyway, he's out.
yeah. You know what I do like, Sabrina, is I like the way your election works in terms of transparency, in terms of the process, in terms of how the two parties nominate the candidates, and how much media attention and the amount Vivek went and he worked his socks off. I got to respect
Spent
that,
money.
and I think
Mm-hmm.
it's such an American thing, the way your election runs, and it's unique.
Mm-hmm.
It's different to other elections
Yeah,
around the world. Do you agree?
I do. I do. I think that's why they call it a democracy.
Yeah. No, but even other
Until
democracies, it
yeah,
doesn't have that type of a pull. And I think the American elections are watched worldwide.
yeah. I think the rest of the world watches it more than Americans right now.
Probably. You know what? It got me thinking, Sabrina. What else does America do? I won't say better, but different. What
Okay.
else? What else do we see only happen in America, which doesn't happen around the world? So I have a
Okay.
few. I'm
Only
sure
in
you have a
America.
few. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
going to start with refills. Like
Hmm.
when I went with your brother in Miami to a movie theater, and we finished the popcorn like
Yeah.
before the trailers are over. Ravine would get up and go and get a refill, and I
Yeah.
was like, "Wow, that's already expensive, the popcorn." And he's buying more, and he's like, looked at me going, "No, it's free
Yeah.
popcorn, free sodas throughout the movie."
Yeah. You just
I
go
was like,
refill it.
"Yeah." So anywhere else in the world, that doesn't happen. I mean, anywhere. I'm talking
Okay.
about I've been to the movie theaters in India, Dubai, UK, Hong Kong. You pay once, and whatever gets filled up, that's what you get.
That's it.
That's it. That's it. So, the refills is one. Then
Okay.
I read this week that I'm going to read this out. The Buffalo Bills, I'm assuming it's
Hmm.
an NFL football team,
It is.
offered
Yes.
fans $20 per hour to shovel the snow out of their stadium because they got hit with a blizzard last week to make sure
Hmm.
that the playoff game happened the next
Yeah.
day.
Because
And I
it
was
had to
thinking,
happen.
I was
Hmm.
thinking Florentino Perez in Madrid, if there's a snowstorm, he's gonna just check out the P&L and hire 1,000 people to remove this or use machines. And here you are asking the fans, and fans come out and they get the $20 per
Okay,
hour.
number one, right? And yes, you could probably hire people to do it. But number one, did you see how much snow was in that stadium? And
Yes.
number
Yeah.
two, these are die-hard fans. Like they will die, literally die for their team.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's so American.
Yeah.
And again,
Yeah. No, it absolutely is.
college sports. College
Mhm.
sports is on TV in America. Anywhere else in the world, we don't even know the names of the
It's a
players or the.
multi-billion dollar industry. And you know that my brother and I, my husband, we went to the University of Florida, the Almighty Gators. And I mean, we say we bleed orange and blue. Like we are, every Saturday we watch our game. You know, basketball comes around, we watch the games. Like we are committed fans.
That's what
Like
I'm
I
saying.
am depressed still. I am how many years removed from college? Not that many, but no, but I
Decades.
still like I'm angry. I'm pacing the floor. I'm just like during football games.
Yeah. Another thing, Sabrina, Americans are the only ones arrogant enough. I'm not talking about Trump. I'm talking about Americans. Americans are arrogant enough that when they win the NBA or the MLB, the Yankees or the Red
I know
Sox
where you're
team,
going with this.
they don't call it, the American trophy. They call it the world champion. So the NBA and the MLB are world championship awards, and
But let
they
me ask,
only face each other.
do you watch the championship game? Like I know you watch NBA
I watch the
championships.
NBA playoffs. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, probably most of the world does.
I think today the European top five European players can beat any five American players.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, I think so. The top five players in the NBA today are
Oh, they're
European.
actually playing in the NBA.
They're playing in the NBA, but my point is they're European. So give them the respect of having a world championship. Or you already have a world championship in basketball, but give the world the respect of not calling the NBA champions world champions. That's just an arrogance that makes people around the world dislike
Yeah.
Americans even more. And that's easy to do with your gun
Oh,
policy,
that is
which
easy
is
to
another
do.
American thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to talk about
Absolutely.
guns. I don't want to talk about guns, but that's
No, let's not talk
definitely
about that.
only an American thing.
I have something opposite of guns, something that makes people happy here. And, it's funny because I started looking to see, I put a Google search of only in Europe or only in Asia, and there was like really nothing, right? But only in America, there's like all these blogs and lists. Girl Scout cookies. What do you know about Girl Scout cookies?
Yeah, only what I see in TV shows and movies.
It is a phenomenon here, like crazy, crazy. So my daughter is a Girl Scout, and we sell cookies from beginning of January to maybe beginning of March. So 2 months, and people are crazy about it. Crazy. So um, take a guess how many boxes are sold in those 2 months per year on average.
300 million.
Oh, you went over. Yeah, 200 million. So it's a revenue of about $800 million in 2 months.
Is this the same thing as those lemonade stands in all the corners in America?
No, those are mostly
No.
kids, like,
Okay. What about
learning.
what about when they open up the garages and they just sell whatever's on the street, like those, what's that called?
A garage sale?
Garage sales.
They don't
I,
do that anywhere else?
I've not seen it anywhere else. What
Oh,
about
we do. I have garage sales, and
yeah,
but I don't sell things off the street. I sell things I don't want anymore, and then
yeah,
whatever's left over, I donate it.
yeah, and we don't do that either.
Oh,
Another thing I find very American. Can you explain the concept of tailgating, please, to our audience?
have you never tailgated? You've lived in
Never,
the US.
never.
Oh, tailgating so much fun. So you love your sport, whether it's a college team or a professional team, and before the game, it's like a party outside of the stadium. People are barbecuing, and there's like several You're there with your friends. You're playing games. You're drinking. You're grilling burgers. I've seen in college alumni come in like these beautiful RV trucks. Right? You know what an RV is,
Sure.
right? Okay, so
Yeah, yeah, those big
RV,
trucks,
and
all funky.
yeah, the big, like, where you can live in them. The bottom opens up, and there's like, they have satellites and big screen TVs, and they're watching other college games at the tailgate before they go in for their game. And it's
Yeah,
just a big party before
yeah.
your team plays. It is
So
like the
so in
best thing to
Europe,
do.
we try and get to the game the earliest to kick off, and we leave the fastest to when it finishes, and that's a
No, that's
successful day for us.
crazy. As committed as soccer football fans are around the world, I'm surprised the concept of tailgating is not in Europe.
No, so what we do is we meet at the pub. You have beers with the guys, you get a bit tipsy, and then you take public transport to the stadium, and you
No,
sing
this is
songs in the
so much
train.
better. This is so much better. You're drinking at the stadium with your friends and just partying out there.
I'm going to give you that one. I agree. I think that's a good one. And the worst one is your tipping policy and your tipping culture.
Oh, that's
Uh, it's out of
insane.
control. It's out of control.
It is out of control. In When we were in Europe last summer, I mean, we'd leave a tip and they were just like people were just so happy. It
Yeah,
was
I just
crazy.
I
Here,
just
it's
got
like
back.
it's never enough. It's
Yeah,
never enough.
yeah, I just got back from Vegas, and I had breakfast at the hotel Johnny Rockets, every morning, and they turn the machine, and it starts with 18.75%,
It's
20, 22.5, and 25. And I'm
mm-hmm.
thinking I'm having a egg McMuffin sandwich to go.
Yeah.
You know, it's already 18.99. Like in Spain, I would leave 20. Over here, I left 25 in Vegas. You know,
But did you leave a tip even when it was to go?
100%.
Hmm.
Yeah. You know what? I'm in Vegas 4 days in the year. I
Yeah.
tipped. I tipped like I was Mark Cuban. I tipped well because it's 4 days. I don't feel guilty.
Yes, it's
But
not 365 days.
if I lived in
Mhm.
America and every day I'd have to tip 20% for literally a takeaway coffee, which is what people are
Yeah.
doing, I find that extreme. I don't know if I sent you yesterday an article that I read about in Candace Owens' podcast, when in Los
Yeah.
Angeles, they are actually adding 4% on the tip for fitness and health of employees.
And I read what the employers are doing with that extra revenue is using it to help pay for the employees' health insurance.
Yeah,
So they're putting the
let's just say,
burden of that on
yeah.
the
I
patron,
like
right?
I like Chile's tipping policy.
Which
It's
is
never obligatory, always
Mhm.
voluntarily, and it's always 10%.
Okay. I
So
like that.
the employee and the employer and the customer know beforehand that it's 10% more.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it's takeaway or eat in, or if it's a coffee or restaurant or cleaning the car, it's always 10%. So at least it's like a tax.
Yeah. I have two for you. Two more
Tell me,
only in America.
tell me.
Um, do you eat ranch dressing?
No, mayo and buffalo, like, what you call it, barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
Ranch
Here,
dressing,
and
no.
I've never seen it anywhere else in the world where um they'll ask, like, do you want ranch? And it's not only for your like wings or chicken, but it's like for French fries or for pizza or for like
It's like ketchup
whatever.
or mayo, right? Just the sauce.
Yeah, I've never seen it anywhere else. And then the second thing that I read and I was like, that's so true, are pharmaceutical commercials. They don't Here they're on all through the day.
And legal lawyers as well.
Oh, absolutely. And legal ones, yes. And
Yeah,
you don't see that anywhere else in the
yeah. Did
world.
you get hurt? Did you get hurt? Call this
Yeah,
number.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's illegal in Europe.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
What
good.
about what about another plus for America is you guys have gyms that operate 24 hours a day.
Hmm.
Nowhere else in the world have I seen a 24-hour gym. Doesn't
Yeah,
matter
well,
if it's Bombay.
we need
Yeah,
it because we have free refills and everyone's eating ranch. So we're probably the most obese nation in
yeah.
the world too.
That is true. But the thing is, you also have 24-hour, like McDonald's, all over the place. McDonald's now is
Mm.
24 hours also in many cities. There's one
Yeah.
over here. Out of 50 McDonald's, there's one 24 hours open,
Okay.
where the party area is. But you
Yeah,
have 24-hour pharmacies, 24-hour places to eat, 24-hour gyms. That
we
24-hour
do.
culture for the consumer and the retail is something that I think started in America and is slowly moving for the rest of the world.
Yeah. I have to admit, when we were in Europe last summer, Naima, who was 9 at the time, it was a little like she was like, "I'm a little homesick." You know? I mean,
Yeah.
the rest of the world is different and these kids grow up getting adjusted here, but it's a
Totally.
good life, especially the
Totally.
tailgating. I definitely recommend anyone listening, if you have not tailgated, come to America, pick a team
Yeah.
and tailgate.
I'm looking forward to our guest today to learn more about our Sindhi culture, Sabrina.
Yes, so am I. Let's get to it now.
Let's get to it.
Okay, so today we have Raj Lalchandani. He is the founder and owner of the Sindhian Magazine. The Sindhian is the very first magazine of its kind, bringing insights into the Sindhi history, its culture, and its people. With a background in publishing, Raj ignored the naysayers and launched the Sindhian 20 years ago. It continues to thrive today in a very competitive market, and we want to know more about it. So, good morning. Thank you for being with us today.
Good morning. Nice to be here.
Hi, Raj.
Yes,
How are
nice to
you?
meet you.
Good, good. How are you guys?
Good. Do we call you Uncle Raj or just Raj? What do you feel more comfortable with?
I
Raj
was
is
thinking
fine.
the same thing. I felt weird
Raj,
saying
Raj is
Raj.
just fine. Why do you want to bracket me? I'm as
It's out
young
of
as you
respect.
guys. I'm
Out
young
of
as you
respect,
guys.
Uncle.
I respect you
Okay,
too.
got it.
Okay. Uncle Amit and Auntie Sabrina.
People are now starting to call me Uncle when I go out. It's just
Okay.
awful.
It happens all the time with me,
Starting,
but
I mean,
Starting,
we're
Sabrina,
almost
starting.
50. It's due time.
okay.
It's
Raj is
still
good.
weird to hear. Raj is good. Okay, Raj, before we talk about the Sindhian, the magazine that you started, can you give us a little bit of background? Maybe where you're from, where you're born, what were you doing before the Sindhian came up?
Okay. I am basically from Bombay. I was born in Bombay, brought up in Bombay, but I think at age 7, my parents got rid of me and sent me to boarding in Rajkot, which is in Gujarat. And from age 7 to age 17 or 18, I was in Rajkot in a boarding school. And I spent most of my time over there, came back to Bombay for vacations. And that was schooling for me. It was great fun. At that time, you didn't have too many good schools in Bombay that gave you a lot of facilities like games and sports and stuff like that. So that was one of the reasons, besides wanting to get rid of me, they sent me out there. And it was good fun also. It was good fun. So that's where I did my schooling. And after that, I
Okay.
Did you
came back
say
home.
7? Did you
11.
say at 7 years old you went to boarding? At what
Yes,
age were you
11.
when you went to boarding school?
7. 7.
7.
Yes.
Wow, I went at 14 to boarding school in
Okay.
England. Until today, I'm 47 now. I think it's the best experience that my parents have allowed me to have. And, I thought I was bullied a little bit in school at the beginning, like all brown people are bullied in boarding school. But I loved it. I wouldn't take it back. How was boarding school at the age of 7?
It was kind of difficult to begin with, but I think 6 months down the line, I was settled. And ever since, it's just been good fun. I enjoyed my time there, all 11 years. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Was
From a
it
boy,
co-ed?
sorry?
Was it co-ed or was it
No,
just
it was,
boys?
it was only a boys' school. Actually, I don't know if you know about this school, but it's about 160 or 170 years old now. And it was originally for the Maharajas of that area, Gujarat. It's in Gujarat. And they were the only ones who used to go there. So at one time, there used to be like maybe 15 students in there or 20 students with 50 staff or 60 staff. And they had the room on top and tables below and stuff like that. So that's the kind of school it was. It's on 25 acres right in the middle of Rajkot. Uh, it's very crowded now, but it was fantastic at that time. It was really, really good.
Only
Only
boys school
boys.
from the age of 7. Wow,
Yes. The
that's a
minute we
challenge
came
for
back,
me.
it was difficult. When we came back from school, it was difficult. We didn't know how to talk to women or to girls at that point.
I still don't, Raj. I'm still learning.
I'm learning. I'm still learning. But
Yeah,
no, it was a great experience for me at least.
That's
sure.
great. What experience did you, I mean, what were you doing before the magazine?
Oh, I've been into lots of things. I was in the textile market. I tried my hand at selling
Okay.
saris and stuff like that. Uh, I don't think that worked out too well. People took off my clothes, I lost my money, and I got out of there. And then I got into the software industry or the computer industry. And in fact, I think I was one of the first people in India to own an Apple II Plus computer, okay, which we use to play games. And I think for a year or two, we played just games on it, but I got the hang of computers and I learned, and then I started using it for work. So I started programming and I started doing stuff for people. I started teaching people how to use computers. And gradually that field, I think I took on for another 15 years or 20 years. I was in the field of computers. And that was great too, programming, training people. And then when the internet came in, I think I started one of the first internet cafes in the country called the Cyber Club. And I don't know if you heard of Sabir Bhatia. Have you heard of Sabir Bhatia? The Hotmail guy?
Hotmail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
We, in fact, when he came to India after selling Hotmail for a large sum of money at that point in time, uh,
300 million.
300 million, right? We hosted him in our office, in our cyber club, and had the press and everything come and meet him. So we were the only cyber club at that time with like maybe 8 to 10 computers, all networked, and we had to dial out through the modem, connect to the internet.
Oh,
It used to be used mainly for chatting. Okay, a lot of people used to come and
yeah.
use it for chatting. So you had all those chat apps or chat softwares. That's what people came and
Right.
used. But then slowly, slowly,
ICQ, ICQ chat,
ICQ, right? That's the one.
and AOL chat.
ICQ.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm that old, Sabrina. I remember. I went
Yes.
You,
out with
Was
Sabrina
it
Bhatia and
dial
got them.
up?
sorry?
Was it dial up with that
Yes,
crazy sound?
it was dial up, with the modem and it goes boom,
Oh,
and all of that stuff. And then it
yeah.
would connect and then it would drop connection so often. But we used to have like at any point in time 8 to 10 people using the internet from our office, and it was good fun.
Oh,
It
that's
was good fun.
fantastic.
We came across a lot of nice people. But then I progressed into internet software and started doing programming for the internet, and then training people how to use programs for the internet. And in fact,
Okay.
what you see as Amazon today, we tried to do that almost 20 years ago, but we were, I guess, too early and it didn't work at that time. So
Mm.
that was that. So cloth business and then the computer business. And
So, Raj, from being before Jeff Bezos' time to now
yes,
running a old school print magazine dedicated to the Sindhi community, what the hell happened? I mean, did the partition affect you so badly that you decided I have to bring the Sindhis together, or what? How did you come up with the idea first of the Sindhian?
okay. There was a time in between, I think, when the computer industry was getting very crowded over here, and I'd been doing it for quite some time, and I too was looking for something new. And at that point in time, something like this came up, and I used to see magazines and stuff everywhere, but there was nothing glamorous or nothing really top of the line kind of thing to talk about Sindhis. And I used to think that Sindhis have this typecast, where they were known as Kalyani Sindhis or Hong Kong Sindhis, as you would call them. And so the image basically of the Sindhis was not like up there. Okay, they were considered like down market, so to say. That's the projection that people had. So I don't know,
It still
something came
is.
into me. No, it's changed. It's changed a lot now. It's changed. People look at Sindhis in a completely different way right now. So at that point
Thanks
in
to
time,
you.
I said, sorry, thanks to me, yes.
Thanks to you.
I, no, I did contribute to that, definitely. I am proud to say that I contributed to that. And so at that point in time, I said, why can't we have a magazine that showcases Sindhis in the right light, so to say, and show them off the way they are, what they've done, how they've come up after the partition, having nothing when they left Pakistan. Uh, you see examples in your own family, okay, and how they had to strive and struggle, and yet they did that without fighting with anybody, without begging for money, without I don't know, without stealing, without anything. They just worked hard. And I said that this needs to be shown to the rest of the world in a good format. And that's what got me thinking. And I said, let me try and do this. I had no clue about the publishing industry. I was scared. I, I discussed it with my dad and I showed him numbers. Actually, it took me about 9 months to gather information and find out how the publishing industry works. Made spreadsheets and all of that stuff. Showed it to dad, and that's it. Okay, sounds good. Go for it. And that's what I started. And
Your, your,
fortunately for
your
me,
story, your story is exactly the same as mine for the podcast, but instead of 9 months, make it 19 months.
okay, okay. But you're probably doing something else, I suppose, and that's why it took you 19 months. At that point in time, I was freer and I was
Sure.
focused and I wanted to do this. Somehow, I don't know. In fact, I went and met in those 9 months, I must have met a few hundred Sindhis to ask them whether something like this would work. And there
Mm.
were some people who were very well known in the community, and some of them said "Chariwa because something like this is not going to work. Nobody's going to look at a magazine and a glossy magazine to add to that. So I said no. Somehow the feeling that I got and the gut feeling that I had was this should work. And I just
Yeah.
went ahead and got myself an editor, started talking to people, and we just went ahead and came out with our first issue. Before the first issue, I had recovered all the money. So my first issue itself
Oh,
made me
that's
money,
great.
made me money rather than spend money. Okay, I spend money in
True
the
Sindhi.
yes. So you
True
have to be a
Sindhi you are.
Sindhi. You have to be a Sindhi to do that.
Yes,
So we were
that's
good to
true.
go then. We were very good to go, and that gave us more resolve, kind of, to take it on and do more stuff with it. And we're on now, 21 years and going
That's
strong.
fantastic.
Yeah.
What? Who
Sabrina,
was the first? Who was the first cover or on the first cover of the magazine?
Okay, we had four people on the cover, and the whole idea
Okay.
behind having four people was to try and reach the magazine into four different areas of society. Okay, uh,
Okay.
we had somebody like a Harish Pebiani. I don't know if you heard of him. He's today, I
Mm-mm.
think, a
Madrid.
billionaire from Spain.
Okay.
Okay,
Madrid.
he was
Yeah.
he was at that point, I think, a millionaire when he was in India. So we somehow met him and we asked him. So he said, okay. Then we met Preeti Jangyani, who you know as an actress from Mohabbat and stuff. She was very popular at that point in time. And we asked her, and she said, okay. And then we met somebody like Nita Lulla, who's the designer, very well known designer, and she does stuff for films and things like that. So we spoke with her, and she said, okay. And then we had another guy from Shaw Wallace, the company, the liquor company, Shaw Wallace. Okay. One of the guys who was heading that, Niranjan Thakur, we met him. He said, okay. So we got four guys together from four different industries, so to say, put them together, shot our cover, and got in touch with a few other people, did stories with them, and launched the magazine. And we launched it in style so that it's not like a regular run of the mill thing. We had a nice evening where we launched it and we had some celebrity. In fact, LK Advani's daughter, Pratibha Advani, we invited her. She came to the launch and that kind of took it to another direction, like Delhi,
Yeah, of
for
course.
example. So the whole idea
Raj,
was
we
to,
need you. We need you as an advisor to our podcast, The Indian Explorers, Sabrina and I did not speak to anybody, no customers before launching the podcast. We have
Okay.
done nothing but invest in the podcast, in producing the show. We've not made any money. So we are going about this the American way, which is invest, invest, invest. Maybe looking at angel investments and VC funding. And here you are, a Sindhi uncle, teaching us how things should be done. Honestly, Sabrina, we have a lot to learn. We're not Sindhi enough. Is what
I,
I'm
I,
learning from today's
I
podcast.
personally think that if you do your groundwork, there are ways to ensure more or less that you're covered and you probably make some money. Even if you don't make money, you're at least covered to take care of your costs and things and then take it forward.
Done. Done.
So,
You're an advisor. After this, we'll
okay,
talk
done.
business.
Okay.
Done.
So that first issue, how many did you print? Where did you distribute it? How did it work?
We printed close to about 8,000 copies at that time. And
Okay.
we gave away maybe 4,000 copies at that time because the way publishing works is you don't make money on selling the magazine. You
Right.
make money on the advertising that
An
comes
ad.
with it. So
Yeah.
if we give away the magazine for nothing, we still make money because the advertising pays for it. So the whole idea,
Right.
the whole idea was to get enough ads to cover the cost, and then you could even give away the magazine. In fact, we have been thinking of late that maybe another year or two, because COVID came and kind of stalled things. But in the next year or two, we want to probably give away the magazine for free so that it reaches even more people. But we're getting our advertisers back now because during COVID time,
What
the
do you charge?
advertisers. Sorry?
What do you charge today? How do I, like, it's not in my magazine stand. I'm obviously in Chile, or Sabrina's in Texas. We don't go to
I
our
have to
bookstore.
interrupt you there. I have to interrupt you there. That's the problem we faced. Sindhis didn't want to buy the magazine. They wanted it for free. And then not only that, they share it with their friends and family and everything. It's good for us
One
because,
copy for 20.
right?
I said one copy for 25 people.
Yes. That's when, Amit and me were talking a little earlier, and he did mention something like numbers of the magazine. So I said, it's not the numbers that matter, how many we print. It's the number of people that we reach out to. And based on us talking to people, we knew that sending the magazine to one person, we were getting anywhere between 25 to 50 people reading that magazine. Okay. Also, what we did is we tried to reach out to places where there was a lot of community. For example, doctors, their clinics, hospitals, hotels, uh, uh, what else? Lots of places where there are a lot of people that get together. So we used to try and see that the magazine reaches there, so the readership is increased. And we were trying to build a brand also at that point in time. And it worked for us. Somehow it worked. Our readership was very high. The numbers of print were not that high, but the readership was very high. And the quality we kept is as good as any international magazine that you can pick up. You guys haven't seen the hard copy, but
No.
it's
I have.
okay. I just had one
I
over
have.
here. This is with Ranveer
Okay.
Singh when he came up in his first movie, which was what? Uh, I think Kahona Pyar. What is it?
We wouldn't
Anyway,
know. Raj,
I,
I've seen
okay,
the magazine. I actually thought it was GQ or Vogue. It's
okay.
that quality.
So that's
Yeah,
what
the
we,
quality looks
yeah, that's
picture
what we
there
wanted
looks
to
like.
try and do. Is the minute somebody picks up the Sindhian, uh, he gets to feel that Sindhis are like this. Okay, they're not cheap people, or they're not what they're supposed to be, seeming to be, like I said, Hong Kong Sindhi, or they're flashy and this and that. We wanted to show the classy side of the Sindhis, that they've changed. They're as good as anybody that you can see. They're as good as the Vogue or the L or whatever. So that's why we
Yep.
chose this particular format, and we've kept it the same all through 21 years. The format has been improving, but the quality has remained good ever since our first issue. So
Do you
that's it.
distribute them here in the US? Are they distributed in big cities here?
We used to send them over there too, but a lot of people wouldn't buy them again because the cost of shipping was very high. So
Oh, that makes
they used to
sense.
pick up the digital copy because the cost of the
Okay.
magazine when we began was like 200 rupees as a newsstand price. But sending it to the US, for example, costs another 500-600 rupees as the postal or courier cost. So the
Yeah.
magazine started costing somebody in the US about 750 rupees, and they didn't want to spend that kind of money. So then we started the
Yeah.
digital, and that's what people started picking up over there. So overseas, it's more digital. Locally, people still want the hard copy.
The print. Okay.
Yeah,
And
the print.
last night I was thinking about the magazine industry, both in India and here in the US, and I looked it up. I was just assuming with the digital era it was a dying industry, but it's not at all. I got the quote that here. The print newspaper and magazine market in India is projected to reach a revenue of 4.15 US billion dollars by 2024. And
It,
that's an increase of 2%. I was blown away.
it's possible because if you actually think about it, on the internet, the attention span of a reader is very, very tiny. Nobody wants to read. Nobody wants to read a full story on your computer or on your phone or on your iPad or anything. But when you have a magazine sitting around, you can read a little bit today, a little bit tomorrow. You can take it to your restroom and read it and stuff like that. You go. So it makes it different, and then feeling and holding it, you tend to read the full story also. But on the net, what you read, digital arena, it's very, very short span. You will read a paragraph or two, next kind of thing. So I feel there is still scope, and especially for a niche magazine like this, because you can't get information on Sindhis and Sindhi entrepreneurs and stuff anywhere else. I mean, you'll get little bits of pieces on the net, but not something like this, detailed, showcasing them in a nice way with good pictures and all of that makes a big difference. I mean, his story right now has been read by quite a few people, and they're asking, "Who is this? How do you get in touch with him?" I said, "Well, that's our job. How we get in touch, we don't know, but we reach out." And
Tell them I'm no longer single. Sorry,
okay,
ladies. Raj, I wanted to ask you, you mentioned Hong Kong Sindhis twice already. What is the difference between Sindhis from Hong Kong, Lagos, London, Bombay, and America? I happen to know a few from different continents, but I want to know your how you view them. What are the similarities and what are the differences?
it's not
Wait,
really
before you answer that, Raj, before you answer that, let me tell you in the US, they're different also in different cities.
the
But I want to
difference.
hear, yes, now carry on.
Okay. No, you can't really identify them as such. I wouldn't say that Sindhis are different. It's just the way they speak, the way they dress, probably. That's what makes them a little different. I mean, if you go to Hong Kong, they have the Sindhi accent in their English. So you can recognize a Hong Kong Sindhi because he says Hong Kong. He won't say Hong Kong. Okay. So those are the things that kind of tell you. Now, if you go to like Africa, their Sindhis would be speaking
Lagos.
a little, Lagos. They'll be speaking a different accent. In the US, you go, they'll have an American Sindhi accent. So different places, different accents, basically, and then they
So
have their way.
it's the accent, it's not the attitude towards life, money, culture. It's the
No, that's
accent only.
yes. I think it's more of the accent and the way they dress and what they do, kind of stuff. But intrinsically, I think they're all same. Okay, they're fun-loving people. They believe in God. Uh, they do good business. They're sharp businessmen. I think that's the commonality all over. I wouldn't say
And
that's
where are your
different.
favorite Sindhis? What Sindhis do you like? What Sindhis do you like? Oh no, they're from this region. I'd rather not interview them. They're
You
going to
mean
think too
you
much of
mean
themselves.
you mean from overseas or from India?
You tell me. You know where are the good Sindhis? Where are the
We
Sindhis that trouble you?
actually nobody really troubles us. Okay, because a lot of people aspire to be in the magazine. We don't get trouble. Okay, we've had one or two chingu Sindhis, as we call it. Okay, who want to be in it, but don't give you that credit kind of for it. But I would say that's
Yeah,
like far and few in between. Overall, I think in 21
yeah,
years, we've had probably two bad dates. Okay. Two advertiser bad dates. But it's 21 years and it's a long time.
Hey, not bad.
So I think
yeah.
most
Yeah.
Sindhis have been good. They've helped us also. They've taken the magazine further for us. All of that.
Yeah. I read, Raj, that you had a Sindhi person who you interviewed, and then that person said, I need to be in the front cover. Otherwise, don't go ahead. Can you tell us a little bit about that without obviously mentioning the name of the person? Or you can mention the name if you want. We don't care. But
I
can
don't
you
know
tell us what happened in that case and
where
how
did
you
you read,
handled it?
where did you read that? Because I don't kind of remember the front cover part. I know a couple of other things that we came across, but front cover, yes, we've had people who say that, can you put me on the cover? And then I said, we look at credentials, we look at whether it will inspire our readers or not, or what. And then we look at the frame, time frame, when we're doing a story. Okay. So we try and create a mix that is viable at that point in time. Yes, so somebody did ask us, and I said, no. I mean, I don't think right now is the time for you to be on the cover. When the time comes, we'll come back to you, whether payment or no payment, because we were not out to only make money. The whole idea was to showcase the right kind of people to inspire others. Okay, so that's why we refused them. We've had instances of that, lots of instances of that. And the minute we talk to people about a story, this can we be on the cover? I said, everybody can't be on the cover. Only some people will manage to be on the cover, and that's how.
I I regret not asking now. I should have demanded being on the cover with a logo of Indian Explorers, Sabrina. I made a
I
mistake.
know.
I'm not
No,
Sindhi enough.
He was worried no one would pick up the magazine if if you were on the cover.
no. You'll be surprised. In fact, lots of people. The cover is, I think, the main thing, and a lot of people, in fact,
Of
are
course.
enthused.
Yeah.
They're more enthused sometimes that they don't know who this person is on the cover, and they want to know more about the cover because how did he manage to be on the cover? We've had, I don't know,
Yeah.
there's,
Sure.
there's, there's another issue. This one, okay,
Sabrina, for your front cover.
okay. This is another issue of ours where we had three comedians on the cover, stand-up comedians, okay, and
Oh, that's great.
we called it two and a half Sindhis because two were full Sindhi and one was half a Sindhi, and they were all comedians.
Uh-huh.
Now, one of them, he's been reading the magazine, this guy, Atul Khatri, for example. He's been reading the magazine for several years before he actually met us. And he said he always aspired to be on the cover and he came on the cover. And then we did a podcast
Oh,
like
that's
thing.
great.
We did a podcast like thing with him. And that's what he said in the podcast that it was my dream to be on the cover. And I finally got on the cover. So we've had a lot of
That's
people
awesome.
who are aspiring to be there.
Sabrina's dreaming about it as well,
I,
Raj, after this call.
I
All right.
am. I
I'm gonna be,
am. I'm
I'm
a
gonna be in touch.
passionate Cindy. So,
I'm gonna be in touch with her
and you asked if
soon.
I was Cindy, full Cindy.
And
Raj,
what
I read
business does
also
Sabrina do? I have to find that out.
What's
too
that?
many, too
Oh,
many,
I'll
too
tell
many for
you.
this, too
Yeah.
many for this episode.
Okay.
Okay, Raj, I read also somewhere that in one of the earlier versions of the magazine, uh, the magazine made a mistake calling somebody fat instead of fab. Uh, how did you handle that mistake?
Actually,
I
sometimes
laughed so hard when I read that.
sometimes we do that intentionally because we want to know whether the person's reading the magazine or not. Because if they find the mistake, then we know that they've read it. But it was not the fact thing. I don't remember it. But there was another person that we had interviewed, and I think she was a singer, if I'm not mistaken. And she used to sing ladas, if you know what ladas are. They sing it at the weddings and stuff like that. The Sindhi song sung at weddings, okay? At least earlier they were, now not so much. But we had a Parsi editor at that time, and she did the story, and she didn't know what ladas was, and she probably misspelled it as laddus or something else. Okay, and, and this person came after us and said, "What did you do? And it's a big mistake. You're a Sindhi magazine. How can you make such a mistake?" We said these things happen, and all our writers are not Sindhis, so it somehow got missed and it's gone. But we've given you a damn good feature, and I think you should be happy about that and read the rest of it instead of hold on to this one word. And then she finally kind of understood. But there are people like that. It's okay. It's okay. We can't be 100% clear.
Yeah. How big is your team?
Me, that's my
Yeah.
team.
Wow.
In-house team
Nice.
is
Because
just
I'm
Profitable.
thinking you have great.
Go from day one.
in-house team is just me. Everything is outsourced. We have writers from different places,
Okay.
different cities. We have a design person who comes and everything is done online. Okay, we don't have an office. We have a home office, and everything is done on email and internet. That's it. On the phone, email, and internet. Uh, People send us pictures. Our writer gets in touch with them either on email or WhatsApp or whatever, send them a questionnaire or speak to them, gets the story done, comes to me. I go through it, edit it, check facts and stuff, goes to the design person, designs it, comes back to me, check the design. And then once in a while, we have a meeting in house where we get together and go through a few stories together and give them direction of what needs to be changed where. And that's it. Then the final thing is put together and comes back to me. And then at the end of it, we page it and send it to the printer. And from there on, we get our digital proofs, check that out, and then it's finalized and printed. The next thing is delivery.
What's the succession?
Sorry?
No, I want to understand, like Raj, what's the are you trying to exit this magazine at some point? What's the succession plan? How long do you want to carry on doing this for? Do you have children that are going to take over at some point?
That's a tough question. I had children who wanted to take over, but my daughters moved away. My son is not too keen on it. So I don't really know. But in fact, in our second year of the magazine, we got an offer from the US, a Sindhi from the US,
Yeah.
who is himself a billionaire, and he wanted to take it. But at that point in time, I was not really willing to part with it because it was a new baby for me and it was working well, and I wanted to take it further. So, but down the line, yes, if I get somebody who's passionate about it,
Serious,
I might.
serious and passionate.
Yes, he has to be passionate. She has to be passionate. Then I might transfer it or sell it or whatever to somebody down the line if that happens. But otherwise, I'm going to keep running
Sure.
it till I can.
If you want to give your financial figure here in public and tell everybody how much you want to exit, just feel free. This is a widely
We
viewed
leave that
podcast.
out for the time being. No, it's like I said, it's you don't have numbers on the Sindhian like you have on a Vogue and stuff like that. Okay, we are a very very small magazine in that sense, but it's a very very classy magazine. It's up to date with any quality magazine in the world, but it's not a large enterprise. It's a small enterprise.
But Raj, 20 years of passion. Don't sell
Yeah.
yourself short. You've built a brand name. It's a unique positioned magazine. I loved it. I saw it at Amrit's
Right.
office, and I loved it. And honestly, I forgot about it. I didn't aspire to be in the magazine one day, but I loved the quality of it, and I like the names you mentioned. I didn't know they were Sindhi. In fact,
Okay.
we had Anila in our couple weeks ago in a
I saw
podcast,
that.
and I
Yes.
found Anila from your magazine 6 years ago. I would never
Yes.
guess she's Sindhi, and a Sindhi to have
Yeah.
the guts to share her story like she did in her speech on TEDx. So I was inspired by Anila, and I wouldn't know Anila if it wasn't to you. So honestly, you are inspiring people. You are a great storyteller, and that's exactly what we're trying to do with Sabrina and I in a podcasting version.
Yeah, you're doing everybody. You're not doing only Sindhis. You're
Yeah, of
talking to
course. We Yeah. We actually had another guest of ours who told me that I was stupid and that I should only be focused on Sindhis because podcasting is about niche businesses. And Sabrina and I discussed it, and we both said, we have too many people. We don't want to limit the crowd or the audience, and we feel there are too many successful non-Sindhi Indian stories that we want to share, and neither of us regret the decision of only sticking to Sindhis. Right, Sabrina?
But I think it's good what you're doing
Yeah, but now it's fun. Go ahead.
because oftentimes we feel that sometimes we want to put non-Sindhis in, but then I've kept the focus on Sindhis alone because it's a niche that I've created and I don't want to divert from it. But what you're doing is a larger canvas that you can play with, and I think it's great. I mean, I don't see any reason why you should focus on Sindhi. I'm going to do that anyways. I'm going to
Yeah.
take that now.
Hey, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, is he's Sindhi?
From his mother's side, yes.
Oh, I did not know that.
Okay.
Oh,
What is that? The CNN guy?
Yes,
yeah, the CNN guy saw him on one of the covers of the Scindian.
that's Sanjay
Yeah,
I,
Gupta.
I had
And
no idea he's phenomenal.
me neither.
my daughter found him on the net, and then we talked to him, and he was good. In fact, I just found out that his mother is a very enterprising person too, and she was working with a large corporation in the US, and she used to wear the sari and go to the office, and she had no qualms about it, and she did very well. She was a high position person in that company. So in fact, we're thinking of doing a
We,
story with her now. This is how we get our leads
Oh, that's
from
great.
one to the other to the other. And in
I
fact, I
think your
want
daughter, if we need your daughter's number to for her to bring us all the leads. She seems
yes,
to be the key of your magazine. She's the
uh,
secret sauce.
she's unfortunately she's moved to Australia now. She's in Sydney, so
Oh, wow.
We don't
she
mind. We don't mind. We don't. We can work with her overseas consultant.
yeah, she's working with Apple now. She's even ditched me for the time being. Okay, she's working with Apple, and but she still helps me from there. She does some corrections. She makes some suggestions over there. In fact, I want to tell you one interesting thing. You never asked me that. I think I should bring it forward. How did the name
Sure.
Sindhian come about?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I
I
know
just
that.
assumed it.
Tell me.
Oh, you do?
It's a combination of Sindhi and Indian.
Okay, there he's got it. Yes, very few people know that. They say Sindhi,
I mean,
Sindhian, but it came from the
it's
two
obvious.
words Sindhi and Indian Sindhis. So we said we'll focus on Indian Sindhis and Indian Sindhis anywhere in the world. So that's how we came up with the name Sindhian. A lot of people
Yeah.
found that interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Sorry, we should have
To go
shared
with
that.
that, how do you feel the identity and culture of Sindhis has evolved as you've seen the magazine, over 20
Since
years?
partition.
How
Since partition.
I think
or even the last 20 years, like generations, how have you seen it evolve?
Positively or negatively?
I think positively. I think positively. I feel sometimes the magazine also has played a bit of a role, at least in a certain section of people. I haven't reached everybody, but we've reached quite a few numbers. In fact, I think within 3, 4 years of the magazine being out and becoming popular, we once went to a dinner party at somebody's house, a Sindhi guy's house. And we were about 15 or 20 of us. And we had this, you heard of Ramesh Sippy, right? The producer of Sholay, director, producer of
Oh,
Sholay.
okay.
You know the movie
I
Sholay,
know
at least,
Sholay, but
right?
Yeah, of course. We know
Mhm.
the movie. Amitabh Bachchan. Yeah.
Okay. So he was there at the party too, and the magazine was lying around and everybody was going through it. And that evening suddenly turned into a Sindhi evening where all these people normally speak in English like we're speaking in English now. Okay. All of these Sindhis were speaking in English. And suddenly, when the magazine topic came up, they all started breaking out in Sindhi. And they were feeling proud to speak in Sindhi, which is something that we wanted to bring about through the magazine. That you're proud, be proud as a Sindhi, speak your language, be the way you are, don't worry about it. And that's the first time I experienced that the magazine brought that change. And then that evening turned into a Sindhi, where everybody started singing Sindhi songs. And it was great fun. So that's what we wanted to do, that make them feel good about themselves. Somehow, when I started the magazine, I thought that Sindhis didn't want to be recognized as Sindhis. Okay, when you go out to a party, somebody will tell you, what are you? Sindhis would kind of hide themselves, to not express themselves as Sindhis. They could be called as Punjabi, they would enjoy it, or Iranian, maybe they would enjoy it. But somehow they didn't want to be known as a Sindhi. I wanted to
Can
change
you
that.
imagine? What are you, Sabrina? Rich, very rich. Thank you. That's
So,
great.
so
Raj,
that's a change. That's a
yeah,
change I think we brought about to a certain extent. That people are beginning to say, "Yeah, I'm
okay,
Sindhi, so what?" And I'm proud of it.
great.
Well,
That's
I'm
it.
happy to say growing up, I thought, oh, you're Cindy, like wow, like you're kind of above everyone
Cindy
else,
Crawford
you
or
know?
Cindy?
How long did you prepare for that one? You've been
I
Right.
just
trying to
thought
put
about it
it
now.
in all the
I just thought about it now. So, Raj, let's talk about the success that Sindhis have had worldwide. What what is your definition of success? And do you feel the Sindhi community is a successful community, and why?
My definition of success, especially for Sindhis, is because of the partition, since the partition, the most important thing I think for the Sindhis was to make a home in a new country, in a new uh, place altogether. So I think the most important thing for them was to create some kind of stability for themselves and for their children and for their families. Okay. So they focused on that. And from there on, they started being more enterprising. They studied. So uh, education became important to them. And if you go around Bombay, at least, and many other places, that's where you see a lot of Sindhis that have built hospitals and educational institutions. So because of the partition, I think this is something that got set in their mind, that if we get educated, we'll have some livelihood. Okay. Hospitals to take care of people. So I think they came in from a place where they were very disturbed, very dislocated, and they wanted to settle down somewhere and then have all these facilities around them. So the first thing I think is they wanted to build a home for them, security. And if you look today, almost all Sindhis anywhere in the world try to keep one home in India and live wherever they're living, because this is because of the insecurity of the partition. Okay. And they've gone through a terrible time at that point. I know, for example, my dad, I think, was 12 or 14 when he had to run away from Pakistan because they were after them to kill them. And he was kind of part of RSS at that time. Okay. So him and his older brother ran away from Pakistan and they were roaming around India with nowhere to go. It was very tough times. So, but yet they overcame that. They educated themselves. They did business on the side and somehow came up. And today I'm reaping the benefits of what they did, just like maybe your parents.
Sure,
So
but did we fail? Did we fail? Because, like, if you look at the Palestinians now trying to, stick their ground and fight the Israelis, and every like community wants their home place, or they want some sort of a land, like you said, a home. We Sindhis, we're not like that. We're happy taking the whole world. Like we're all over the world,
I
and we're
agree.
not fighters.
I
We don't hold any anger towards Pakistan. We don't want to go back to Pakistan and take Sindh. So have we failed in that definition that we don't want our own homeland?
I personally don't think we failed at all. By the way, there are people who want sin. Okay, Sindhis who want sin to come into India, or they want a different
Yeah.
state within India. I personally don't think it's necessary. I think we've gone and amalgamated wherever we've gone. I mean, people have gone to Spain, they've learned Spanish. They speak in Spanish more than they speak in Sindhi. People have gone to Africa, they speak the African language. They've gone to China, they speak Chinese. All of them don't speak
Yep.
Sindhi, but they speak the language of the place that they live in. So I think
We've
that's
adapted.
really, they've adapted, and
Yeah.
I don't think they mind that at all. In fact, not having a state of your own, the whole world is yours. In fact, I've given a term to that. I call them economic nomads. Okay, they go from place
Yep.
to place to benefit economically and to basically secure their family, secure a home. That's what they're looking for, and I think
Sure.
they've done very well with that.
Yeah, we speak Spanish. I speak Spanish fluent,
And you
and I
don't
don't
speak
speak
Mhm.
Hindi.
Hindi. I don't
You don't
speak
speak.
Hindi or Sindhi. I'm fluent in Spanish. Fortunately, I play football like a Spanish person, not like an Indian.
Okay.
But that's just the perks of living in
Yeah.
Spain.
How long have you been in Spain, if I may ask? I mean, in Chile.
In the US?
In the you
Oh,
in the US and him in Chile.
I've been in Chile now 11 years, and I was in Spain till 14. And at 14, my parents sent me to boarding school in the UK. And I've lived in UK, US. I've lived in Hong Kong for 6 months. I've lived
Okay.
all over.
Okay. And Sabrina?
I left Spain when I was 4 years old
Okay.
and have grown up in the US.
American dream.
So
She's the American
over
dream.
40 years.
Okay. Okay. Where in America are you?
Yeah. I'm in Texas, in San Antonio, right? Very close to the border to Mexico.
Okay. Okay. That's towards
Yeah.
California or no,
No,
Texas?
right in the middle.
Right in the middle.
Right in the middle. So I grew up in Miami and then got married, moved to Texas and south central US.
Okay. See, that's what Sindhis are all about. They go settle anywhere
Yeah.
and just go in with wherever they are. In fact, when you mentioned Miami, there's a very successful Sindhi there. You must maybe talk to her. She was partnering with Donald Trump at one time in the real
Oh
estate
boy.
business. Okay. So
I
we've
think
done a
she's a
story.
Democrat.
Okay. But we've done a story with her too. So she's a
Oh, great.
good
What's
bet
her
for
name?
No,
you
but
guys.
there is Miami has a lot of like successful, thriving Sindhis too.
Yes.
What's her name, Raj? I didn't get it.
It's Ramola Motwani. Ramola Motwani.
Ramola Motwani.
Yeah. Then,
Soon
like
to be
I said,
coming to Indian Explorers.
yeah,
Mrs. Motwani.
you should talk to her probably. You should.
If your daughter gives us the contact after the show, I'm going to call Tim Cook and tell Tim Cook that we need her on our team.
In fact, there is.
All right.
I had a quick question though. You answered what success means for Sindhis. What does success mean personally for you? Is it the same answer?
No. My magazine is my success. What I wanted to do with the magazine, I have been able to do to quite an extent, and I think that's success for me. When I go out there and meet people and they love talking about the magazine, talking about the people in the magazine, they think this is a virtual Sindhi homeland, so to say, that they can connect with so many people over here. I think that's success for me. I've been very successful in this. That's the way I look at
That's
it.
awesome.
Yes.
Love it. Absolutely.
Okay, Raj, we're going to get into the rapid fire section. Over here, Sabrina and I will ask you some quick questions. And if you can also come up with your quick, whatever comes in your mind first. Sabrina, I'll start.
Go for it.
What is your favorite book or movie or quote that has inspired you in the last few decades?
That's a tough one. I read a lot, but I'm a Shiva bhakt. Okay, so the last set of books that I read was the Shiva trilogy by I'm sorry, I can't remember the author's name right now, but he's written 3 books on Shiva, and I think they were really good. They were very good read, is what I think.
Share a fun or interesting fact about yourself that people may not know.
Not even your wife.
That's a tough one. I'll be giving away a lot of stuff over here.
Wives know everything.
Rapid fire is a fun section, not a tough section.
Most everything. No, I just like working from the heart, and that's what I do. I think that's how I would put it. In
Okay.
fact,
You have
in fact,
fun
I tell
working.
a lot of people when they want to be in the magazine, I say it's not even up to me. When your time is right and when the universe wills it, you'll be there. I don't control it.
Okay. If you were given unlimited travel anywhere in the world, or unlimited restaurants to eat anywhere in the world, or unlimited hotels to go live anywhere in the world, which one would you pick?
Hotels,
Travel, hotels, or restaurants?
travel and hotels. I do that over here too,
That's
and I would continue to
that's
do that.
two.
Travel and hotels.
Okay. If you could travel back in time, which era or time would you go back to?
I think to
It
the
could be
time of
Roman
Ramayana
Empire.
or Mahabharata. To the time of Ramayana or
Wow,
Mahabharata.
Um,
I would
good,
like to be there, yes.
oh, that's a great answer.
good one. Okay, what purchase of under 5,000 rupees uh, has most positively impacted your life?
Okay, I'm going to turn that around a little. It's not a purchase. There was a time I walk every evening in the garden, and somebody came up who had a health issue. He was a mechanic in a garage, and he needed money for his treatment. And somehow I was carrying 5,000 rupees in my pocket that day, and I gave it to him. I think that was one of my best moments. So that's like you said, $100. It's about 5,000 rupees at that point in time. And I just gave it to him, and that made me happy.
What do you want your legacy to be in 10 words or less? What do you want to be remembered as?
I want to be remembered because of the magazine, because I tried to bring Sindhis together. I tried to change, not change, to bring out their real identity in the world and be successful at it. That's what I would be really happy about.
Love it.
Raj, uh, got to thank you. I got to thank you for many things. One, for being on this podcast. Two, uh, I think you starting the Scythian has actually inspired me definitely in wanting to do this podcast. And we're basically choosing the same niche, which is sharing stories of brown people. And
That's right.
I think we share the same vision that brown people have been uh, are optimists, and we
Yes,
always look for the best in others and in wanting to achieve the most for our families. And that's not just economic, but also health, spiritual, etc. So I think you are a role model for all Indians, not just Sindhis. And your magazine is definitely something that I hope somebody carries on after you decide to give it up to somebody else. And you never know, it could be us. So let's keep in touch. And
let's do that.
thank you very
I
much
hope it's you
for
because you
being.
seem passionate about what you do and you need passion for
Yes.
something like this. Whether you make money or not is secondary. If you have the passion, like you're doing this out of passion, you're not making money, like you said. Uh, you need somebody
Sure.
like this for the magazine too.
So
Somebody passionate.
what Sabrina and I want to do is we want to do this for 20 years. And in 20 years' time, she has a daughter, I have a son. And we want them to be Indian explorers. One episode we both say bye,
Part two.
and Naima and Gotham, her daughter and my son, take over, and then it'll become popular and massive and an income generating
I hope that
thing.
happens for
Until
you
then,
guys.
Sabrina and I are just having fun for now.
Good. That's the way. If you don't enjoy it, don't do it. I enjoy the
No,
magazine.
we have.
A lot of people tell me, why are you doing the magazine? I said, I enjoy it. And that's it. Whether money comes, doesn't come, doesn't matter. The number of people you get to
So,
meet, the number of stories that you hear, it's incredible.
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
I mean,
Sabrina and
just
I
like
would
You know,
like
there's
meeting
one
people
thing,
like you.
yeah, just like people like you,
there's
what
one thing
you're
you
doing,
said.
you're meeting incredible people.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, every episode we do, we learn. We learn, we meet, we build that relationship. It's fantastic. And I want to say the one specific thing that I'm going to take with me today is that you said for Sindhis, the world is ours. We don't need just one place. The
Yes,
world is ours.
yes.
So
That's
I
why I said
absolutely love that.
economic nomads. We're economic nomads. The
Nomads.
world is
Yep.
ours. And we'll go where the business takes us.
Yep.
That kind of thing. But I'm gonna come
Yep.
to Chile and I'm gonna come
Love
to the
it.
US and meet you guys.
Please do. Please
Oh,
do. It's been a great conversation. Really enjoyed it.
thank you so
I
much for
I
having me.
land I land in your town in exactly 6 days.
Okay. You're coming here?
We'll grab that beer. I'll be in Bombay on Tuesday. We'll grab that beer together.
Okay. We're going to meet definitely. Tuesday, right?
CCI or Malabar Hill Wednesday night. I'll call you, Raj, when I get in.
Yes. Are you a member there at CCI or Malabar Hill?
Yeah, both. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm a member at NSCI, so that's the other option. Or we'll go to a restaurant and eat. Done.
Thank you
Send me a photo.
I'll see you next week.
Great meeting you. Thank you for being here. Everyone, this has been a fantastic episode of Indian Explorers. We hope you enjoyed it as well. Please share and subscribe. Thank you, everyone.
Ciao.